Hello, everybody. Nice to see you again. I'm here at Fat Buddies podcast, weekly podcast now with Jake Fat Trading. Hope you like this episode. We're gonna talk today about team of the week, headliners, marquee matchups, investment, what we did well, what didn't do well, icon, mid icon SBC, and so many. How are you, Jake?
I'm doing well today, Florian. How are you?
So excited. You can see from my tone of my
I
voice.
love it. I love it.
Yeah, so we had, let's say, a great promo behind us. This is the last day of Headliners,
hmm
Headliners Part 2. We record this episode on Monday, so today there was no SBC, but we've got pretty much every day an SBC during this promo. What do you feel about the Headliners promo, and or what did you like about it?
I thought it was an amazing promo following Team of the Year, and I thought it followed it up well, and I thought the timing was preferred for me. And I know that people were just really excited about future stars, which I think is awesome, but because those are more, say, random boosts, to player cards, I mean, obviously they have to be young and they have to fit certain criteria, but they can really do that at any time, that's nothing specific with timeline. Because the headliners this year tied in the 4 wins in a row, I think that doing them sooner than later is better, so they get a chance to actually upgrade. The player selection looked fantastic to me. I thought it's all over the spectrum in terms of what we want to see. Team 1 and Team 2 was good too. Team 2 didn't have nearly as much hype as Team 1, and I think that's because a lot of these players had similar cards. Like, I think that um, Aubameyang already had an 89, so that's not as exciting. Werner already has multiple cards that were better than him too. So
Yeah.
as two of the main features there, I think it lost a little bit of excitement for that. And then Sterling, we've had a Rashford recently in that same position, so people have alternatives now in that position already. So that's kind of my take on it. But I really like the player selection. I thought they did a good job, a good mix of players, and players that have a good chance of getting upgrades, which is what's important.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and exactly the reason you said it's better these cards came out early because they need 4 wins in a row to get a +1 upgrade, let's say.
Yep.
And I know that, for example, in Premier League there are like 14 games left.
Yeah.
So for one team, if they want to get that upgrade, they have like 4 chances between some losses to make that happen.
Yep.
Let's say 4 times. It's only one time if they do it 4 times in a 4 wins in a row.
Yep.
So yeah, we needed a lot of games for this to be possible, and I can understand the same with Future Stars because in the Future Stars promo there are some players which get very high boosting
hmm
very early in the game. So I would say, yeah, it's better for them to get the upgrade, let's say in February or maybe even the beginning of March.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to see them next year even move the timeline down further. Like you said, with only 14 games left, winning 4 in a row is quite a feat. And if they lose, it's going to reset. So the opportunity isn't promising for a lot of them. So I think that if they want to do that same approach next year, they could even release a team in, say, like November. Maybe they do batch 1 in November and then another batch like a month later. They kind of did that with Road to the Final last year, and it was pretty fun. It brought a lot more hype to it. And I think that's a good approach because people definitely aren't as hyped about batch 2 because it's clearly not as good as batch 1 and it was directly after. So I think if they separate them, it could do a little bit better next year.
Yeah, like to have them as we have, let's say, wants to
Exactly.
watch because we have them one in the autumn and one in the, let's say, the end of the winter or spring.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. What are you saying about these headliners prices? I see some, let's say, some quite pricey players. I can tell you about, let's say, Wijnaldum 500k, Reus 1.2 mil. This is from batch 2, let's say. There are hyped cards.
hmm
They are cards which have been in packs only for a couple of days.
Yep.
Uh, So why are these players so high in price, and what can we expect with them in the next weeks?
Yeah, I kind of noted this on Headliners Batch 1, but I think the community is actually outpricing live cards this year. After the excitement of last year, live cards haven't moved as much during the year. So what I'm thinking about, guys, is like Road to the Final 1. Even when Road to the Final cards were playing and stuff, their prices were like literally barely moving because people had invested so much into them, and they were almost already priced based off of their upgrades. So when we're looking at a card like Royce, even if he gets upgraded to 91, is that card worth 1.25 million? I personally wouldn't really pay it. Some people might, but my point is these guys are priced based on upgrades, in my opinion. And I think that due to that reason, these are going to be better to trade like ones to watches more than anything. I really think that you're going to have to trade around performances, and they're not just going to fly out of packs because they're not cheap, right? Like when we looked at Scream and other stuff that did well out of packs, they were relatively cheap and they were standard cards. These are really expensive. Batch 2 is really rare. They're only in packs, basically Friday through Tuesday, so it's really rare. But I still think they're going to need good performances to go up. You're seeing that with Ilicic. You've seen it with Lewandowski. He had a good performance in Flu. You saw it with Neymar. So I would personally treat these cards like ones to watches now.
Yeah, and I remember also their prices on Friday night, Friday evening, when they came out. They were very high in price, and a lot
Yeah.
of people bought some Tagliaficos for 200k. Let's
Mm-hmm.
say some Kappa for I don't know 150,
Yeah.
some Thiago Silva for 120, and those weren't the prices that you could have. Not worth it for this kind of players.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say some of them usable, some of them like Thiago Silva. I don't know what you can do with them in your team at this stage of the game.
Exactly. He's looking at a few upgrades before he's really usable, and people try to force him into the League One squads. Capo was probably the most unique one to me. I think he was an interesting choice. Pretty cool pick, but um, he's one of the best right backs in that league now when they really only had Semedo previously. So
Yeah.
he may rise potentially a little bit out of packs just because he's one of the few options there. But a player like Madison, I'm really thinking about someone like him. I bet if he has a really good performance like team of the week worthy or a goal or a couple assists or something, I bet his card does super duper well because he has a lot of hype about him as a youngster too. So I think he could go up like 30 to 50K with a good performance.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, what we've got this week was let's say the Ronaldo of previous FIFA. If you remember the silver card Ronaldo, we've got Orsic, objective player,
Yep, yep.
and quite, let's say, quite easy to get. I didn't get it yet for my team, but I probably will. And Orsic for an 84, he has 96 pace and 90 shooting.
Yep.
And I will connect this to, let's say, a trading win, which we talked about last show, in which you recommended Ante Rebic as a buy, because he would have been first of all out of packs because he got into team of the week, and also second because you needed let's say a Croatian player for doing this objective.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I saw someone comment, this was on media when you posted, and someone said, "Oh, it's easy
Yeah.
to invest when you know leaks," and I just kind of laughed because just so everyone knows, Florian and I don't would are never people to get them directly. We don't have any individual contacts. If I know a leak and if I know it, it's widespread. It's not like hidden information. It would be like hard to miss if you're part of the foot community in on social media. So everyone knew Orsic was coming, and then you coupled that with the fact that Rebic had a great performance and was likely going to get an inform, and it made for pretty easy coins. So it didn't really have to do much with the leak because everyone knew that. It's just I don't know why people didn't invest because it seemed kind of obvious.
Yeah, if so, guys, if you are on Twitter, if you're not, go make a Twitter account and follow me and Jake. First of all, second of all, if you're on Twitter and you're quite active, you follow some FOT traders and stuff like this, you will see that Orsic was like um, a simulated, let's say, objective
Yeah.
since the first batch of headliner. So a lot of people expected him.
Yep.
So after that, let's say a couple of days before he got as an objective, a couple of days before Friday, everybody on Twitter was talking about him. He wasn't confirmed. A lot of times there are leaks which don't come out, like today. Today someone said about Fabinho
Yep.
SBC and it never came out. So they are not confirmed. You don't need to put all your coins in those players, but you can make some connections, and if that player really goes out, you can make some coins like that.
Yeah, completely.
So I would say it was a nice win. First of all, because Rebic was in team of the week. Second of all, because you needed him to do this objective, and not a lot of strikers from
Mm-mm.
Croatia are available in the game. Only Orsic, who was extinct for all his cards, Rebic, and Rebic is in form.
Yep.
I have to say I made some coins on his inform. He was extinct for at 30k for cup for a day or something like
Yeah.
this,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought him extinct and sniped him extinct, and I sold him for 10k a profit per card. So that was also a nice let's say investment, personal investment.
Totally.
Going to team of the week, we got a surprise in the team of the week. We mentioned it, but we weren't sure. None of us was sure he would get in. It was Kylian Mbappe.
Mm-hmm.
I think they needed like a big name to boost this team of the week to sell more packs, I guess. We had also Van Dijk, and let's say the most hyped player of the week, because he scored 5 goals in 55 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Haaland from Dortmund.
Yeah, no, the team of the week looks pretty good. A lot of people were speculating, kind of like you said. They were speculating on a team of the week SBC because they were thinking like, oh, they threw in Mbappe and Van Dijk. They don't usually do that. It could be a good week to do a team of the week SBC. But I kind of told the Discord and I told people right away that I don't think that's the case because this time was a situation where all players kind of deserved it. You know, Mbappe, and Neymar and Ronaldo, Messi, those type of players, basically they have team of the week worthy performances quite often, but because they're that good and because they're so good, it usually takes a little bit more for them to get in. So I don't think this was a situation at all where they didn't deserve it. So I thought this team looked fair to me, and yeah, maybe they wanted to boost pack sales a little bit, but I don't think it looked like team of the week SBC where they totally force players in. Like we've seen situations where a player hasn't got a goal or an assist from midfield and they get in just randomly. That's happened before, or a striker gets an assist and he gets in. Kind of weird stuff like that is more what I look for. But yeah,
Yeah,
Holland's been extinct literally like 3 different nights at 290k, which I never thought he would sustain this value. I did end up trading with him a little bit. He went down in the evening to like 240k, 250k, right in that range. And then when Europe woke up, they wanted him, so they kept buying him to extinction multiple times. That just shows the hype of real life performances and what happens with foot cards because based off his stats and knowing that he's 3-star, 3-star, if you just looked at the stats and knew that, no one would ever pay that price. They'd find it laughable, but it's just the name value.
tough question number one for today's show, Jake.
Hmm.
Uh, do we buy Haaland now, thinking of a winter upgrade? Yes or no?
I wouldn't buy right now. No, I think that the market's going to go down at some point soon, and I think that there will be a good time to get into winter upgrades then.
Okay, good. Connecting also to some other wins that we had in the podcast. Let's say last week, Marquee Matchup.
Hmm.
Let's say you predicted 3 games. You predicted Roma versus Lazio, Bayern versus Schalke.
Yep.
I'm not sure which one was the other one, but I know Bayern players did very well because they required the Bayern and one Schalke player, and the Bayern players were, let's say, just a few selections not high rated. So that went very well on Thursday.
Yeah, we talked about that, guys. Like, if they were going to include Bayern in the marquee matchup, that whole matchup is going to do well because they either required one from each team, like we talked about, or one in total, but they are two in total, and they required one from each team, which was ideal. There are some promising matchups this week if you want to run through them right now since we're on the topic.
Yeah, let's go ahead and clear this elephant in the room already.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, so there are some good opportunities this week, in my opinion. I think the first game that should be featured is Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. There's a huge likelihood of that being in, like 90%, in my opinion. Probably the biggest game. And then Real Madrid actually kind of reminds me of Bayern, where they don't have all that many options. So if you can get any of their gold cards under like 1.8K in that range, they look good. Because if they require one from Madrid, they're going to go up pretty well. And then Atletico Madrid isn't even cheap themselves. So if you can get them under 1.2K, that's a good investment. Uh, Game 2, I think Ajax versus PSV is extremely likely. This is a situation where sometimes they require the league, sometimes they require the nation plus the league combination, but either way, they look pretty safe. So if you can get Ajax golds, whether it's rare or non-rare, under 800, PSV non-rares under 600, and then their rares should be discard. Those look safe. And then the last game I have is Spurs versus Manchester City at like a 70 to 75% chance of being featured. If you can get Spurs under 850, and Manchester City is another one of those teams where their players are really expensive. I even mentioned that last week too, but if you can get them under 1.5K, it looks promising. If they require, again, one card from each team individually, those cards could go up quite well.
Also, what I want to add two things here. First, you know me, I like also to fill in the number of games with couple more additions, just for the ones who really like to do their SBCs. So we have Panathinaikos versus PAOK.
Yep.
So if you want guys to buy one or two players from each team just to have them in your club,
Yep.
and also Rangers versus Aberdeen in the Scottish League.
Yep.
That's also something which can be featured in this week's marquee matchups. And another thing regarding Real Madrid versus Atletico. Nacho scored a goal.
Oh yeah.
A goal this yesterday, I think, and he has a big chance of getting into team of the week. He will be so extinct. So Thursday, if you have some Nacho, Nacho the player, not Nachos, some Nacho in your club at a good price. So don't buy hyped cards. Buy at a good price, maybe 2.2K.
Yep.
That could go well for you.
Yep. Yeah, with him being out of packs, that's a good look. And since he's got an 82 rating with strong links, it's a really safe investment. So good call there. Yep.
Yeah, and connecting this topic also to the team of the week topic. Let's say I have here a list. Let's say with some players who can be featured in next week's team of the week.
Yep.
I saw Ilicic scored 3 goals, a hat trick. So a hat trick, he has a headliner card. A hat trick kind of gets him in team of the week. A Plea, which was objective in the first week of headliners promo as a headliner, so he can be featured also. I know Goretzka did a very good game for Bayern.
Yep.
And he also scored a nice goal. I've seen some, I told you about Nacho Fernandez. I've seen some good performances from Sancho or Royce. But Royce was in headliners promo, so lower chances there.
Yep.
And to end the list, Henderson, a goal and an assist for Liverpool in their game, and Pereira, the right back from Premier League, also with a goal and an assist.
Yep, I had a lot of those mentioned as well. So, guys, review that list. Listen to that last little segment and look for their gold cards, because if they are featured in Team of the Week, they usually see a spike upon announcement just because people try to invest last minute. But other times, because they're used in SBCs, they slowly rise over the week when they're out of packs. So those are some great things to invest in. And Florian had a really nice list there, and I agree with most of what he said.
And I have two more players. I will ask you what you think about them.
Hmm.
First one is Neymar. He scored 2 goals, man of the match. He did, let's say, a celebration for
Kobe.
Kobe,
Hmm.
and he, EA might feature that in the team of the week as a let's say dynamic image. I don't know, but that would be nice and hyped to be in game. What do you think about Neymar, Jake?
I personally think he'll be in. I think he'll be in because of the symbolism he used, and I think also because of his performance, but a lot because of the event and is very respectful what he did for Kobe Bryant. I'm sure all of you guys know by now, but Kobe Bryant passed away tragically in an accident yesterday, and he was really iconic for our generation and any generation really. So it's a really hard loss, and it's hard for people around the world. And Neymar, I know, had met Kobe, and they had talked, and he did the numbers 2 and 4 after he scored, and I think that would be a pretty awesome dynamic to not only show respect um, for Neymar for doing it, but for Kobe Bryant as well, which he was associated with everything, and he grew up in Europe, and many people don't know, but he was a huge football fan.
Yeah, true. And I hope we get this card in the game. It would be quite cool. Also with if they get the dynamic image, that would be great.
Hmm.
And my second player, this is a personal favorite because I like players who have a risk in them. This is Nainggolan, and he scored a goal in the tie which Cagliari did with Inter.
Okay.
He scored the goal from long shot, long distance, and he has a headliner card. So I'm hoping they boost the team of the week with some surprise, even if they have at least two other better chances with Plea and Ilicic.
Yeah, I mean that's what we call definitely a high risk investment, right? Because
Very high risk because he's also very pricey. He's like 500k. So guys, don't go there if you don't afford it.
definitely, no, but if they include him, he'll probably fly because he's not as expected, like Florian said, because it was a tied game. So if that's one of those situations where if he gets in, he'll really fly those first few hours because people didn't expect it. They're trying to buy in. They're trying to gauge what price he'd come up to. So yeah, no, I like the risk, and if you're not scared to lose 20 or 30K off tax or whatever it is, don't worry.
Yeah, so yeah, don't go there if you're not you don't have like big pockets.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so I guess we talked about this kind of things, and now everybody may be thinking, what's next? Headliners is it's over. What's next, Jake?
Future stars should be on the horizon. I don't know if they're going to do it this week. I don't know if they're going to do it the week after, but that should come up. I kind of hope they give us a small break from promos here, to be honest. I know that people like to have something all the time, but I kind of hope they give us a week off just to let the market settle. But maybe in that week off, they do include a Mid Icon SBC to help encourage us to play.
I mean, I was doing some science here on the video while you were talking, so you'll see them on the video later. I would be happy personal if they do a mid icon SBC. Not saying that I invested in some high rated cards, but let's say I'm waiting for something there, and I will talk about a little bit from two perspectives. First
Sure.
perspective, as SBC fathers, let's say high rated will fly.
Yep.
Second perspective, the market will crash. And I will let you talk a little bit about this to learn this part, let's say this week.
Yeah, guys, we'll kind of use this as a segment where I teach you a little bit something. Some of you guys might know this, some of you might not, but whenever a huge repeatable SBC comes out, it has a dramatic effect on the market. So I'm going to use the obvious obvious example and talk about the base icon SBC. So the base icon SBC was a little bit more unique because it was unexpected. People didn't know exactly if it was coming or when, and so it made SBC fodders absolutely fly. I literally think 88 plus cards, like 88 and 89s doubled, which is insane for their price. So Chiellini was like 27 to 30K. He literally maxed out, I think, at 60 at one point or 55. So they all pretty much doubled it. This time, the SBC would be a little bit more expected. So I wouldn't expect that dramatic increase. And I also wouldn't expect it because now EA has done a supplementation for SBCs where they're putting out long term moments that is going to keep a bigger floor for SBC fodder and informs throughout the year. So right now, we have Sane out, Lala, Yetter, etc., keeping that floor up pretty much. So it'll be pretty hard for SBC fodders to drop this entire month. It would take really huge pack supply. So SBC fodder is expensive, and if a Mid Icon SBC comes out, you might see something like a 80, 84, 85, 86, 87 rating. You might see something like 285 squads and 287 squads. It depends all about how they want to price it, how many coins they want off the market. But what's going to happen is really no matter how much a SBC like this costs, everyone wants to do it. And I even ran a small sample size in my Discord. Around 20% of people said they would do at least one of them. And, some of them might be on a large budget, but some of them might not be on a large budget, but they're still going to do one, okay? If 20% of the whole foot community does at least one, and usually it's higher because they're really hyped up on streams and people love getting involved with them and having streamers open their packs and things like that. But if every person, or if 20% of people do at least one pack, that's literally going to drain hundreds of millions of coins off the foot market. So with all those coins disappearing and becoming untradeable, people don't have as many coins available to go out and buy cards or to go rotate through their teams or, buy a new player each week. So buying power lessens significantly, and people start listing their cards lower and lower in hopes to get sales. And people will also try to sell their teams or sell high-rated cards they're holding or good players so they can do an SBC. So you're seeing this effect of people can't afford them because they lost a lot of coins personally, and then the people trying to sell them repeatedly, and they keep going lower and lower and lower. So a mid-icon SBC would definitely crash the market at this point. Because SBC fodders are so expensive, I would expect the SBC to be at least 650K, and people will still do it.
Yeah, just a couple of comments here from my side. First of all, everybody would do at least one.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. You just have this feeling that let me try at least one to see what I've got. And you'll see on Twitter, on social media, on YouTube, you'll see I did one, I packed Ronaldo. I did one, I packed Eusebio. And you'll be like, hey, let's do at least one. Maybe I'm also that lucky guy.
Yep.
You will not believe me, so don't try it. Second thing, exactly what you said. Not a lot of people have, people have coins, but you need to sell some players. You don't keep like 3 million coins cash in your account.
Exactly.
So you would need to sell some players. All those players go on the market on the same time.
Yep.
Their prices gets even lower. Third thing, you pack an icon, you pack a mid icon. It's not very good, but you spent 600K on it. You want him in your team, whatever it takes. Maybe it's a bad card, but you'll say at least let's play with him because I don't have what to do with an untradeable icon, not like last year where we could have submitted in an SBC. So when you put it in your team, you'll need to change a little bit your squad. You go ahead and you sell the players even more.
Exactly.
So this goes to what Jake said. Let's say a market crash. We'll see if this happens or not this week or soon or until the next promo. Just to be clear with you guys, we are expecting winter upgrades in February. We're expecting Once to Watch promo because transfer period ends this week. We are expecting Future Stars only because chronologically last year it came during this time. So 3 promos which we can expect if they fit in some middle icon SBC or something related to an icon that would that would drive the market in some direction.
Yep, and I would like to note one more thing along those lines. So, also in February, we're going to see the icon moments start releasing too. And it didn't say a specific date or anything, but I think they'll slowly start coming out. I don't know if they'll do it in batches or all together, but the part of the reason I think the middle icon SBC is likely to come in the next 2 weeks. That's all I'll say. I don't know within that time range very much, but within 2 weeks, I think it comes because for one thing, and this is important, they just updated the price range of some SBC fodders, which means they expect something big to come that might raise their price. In my opinion, that's what I think. And then two, with Prime Moments releasing, it's pretty much a nice segue for them to say like, oh, everyone can try mid icons now before we release the new one. It looks nice on their end. It just kind of logical in that order. They kind of did the base before releasing the other versions, right? So the Primes. So I think they
Yeah.
could definitely set up for success like that. So it's something to make note of.
Yeah, and personally, so don't go crazy on some investments, but personally, I think this week they will release something because we don't have any player of the month SBC to be released. We don't have a promo, so maybe we get some, I don't know, some flashback player, some moments player or stuff like this, but something definitely is coming. And FIFA and EA was quite rich with us with SBCs this year.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not sure. I think this would be it for this episode number 8, guys. Thank you for staying with us. 8 or 30 minutes per episode.
Yeah.
Do we take any questions, Jake?
There's a couple, but I think we actually talked about them a little bit
Okay.
during the segment. I guess one that I'll just answer because people will probably ask either in the comments or after this now
Yeah.
is like what investments are good for the mid icon SBC. That was asked a few times. Pretty much like right now, based off what I'm seeing, the cards that have the most potential to rise a lot are 89s through 91. So someone like Oblak got a huge price range update. His is actually 100K now. So he's only sitting around, I think, 55 to 60K on PS, but his price range is 100K, so that looks like it has good potential. Last time they did require pretty high chemistry with it, so cards that can link to each other do well, like Godin and Handanovic, Thiago Silva, Hummels, cards that have strong links, and then center backs are pretty rare to come by, so those are just some of my favorites.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like this show because I kind of agree with everything you say. I can't wait for the episode where we disagree the
Oh, we're
entire.
gonna be fighting one of these times. It's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
I hope this comes soon.
Uh-oh.
I hope this comes soon, and the viewers and the listeners have the best show ever. Um, so to end this episode, thank you for the support, guys. We saw that you watched the last episode quite a lot, and we really like that. If you are one of the people who stayed until this minute, just leave a small comment on YouTube or in our as a reply on our tweets, and we'll know for sure it was you.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks for watching. And if you wanna say some other words, Jake, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. The next episode might be a little bit longer of a break. I actually have a little baby due on Friday. So on Friday, we'll have a little trader joining us. Maybe she'll make an appearance on a podcast eventually and teach us some things. But we might be a little bit longer for the next episode. But we'll try to keep it still short in duration because we like staying current with you guys. I know you guys like consistency, but it's a pretty exciting time for sure. And I know a lot of you guys have been following me for a while, so I'm excited to share that part of my life with you guys.
Yeah, we wish you best of luck, Jake, to you and the family, and we hope you will get back to us with very very nice news. And yeah, we are here. We are here for you if you need anything.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Thanks for watching or for listening, guys, because we know you're also listening in quite a lot of big numbers on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. And until next time, as always, stay safe.
Stay safe, guys. Talk to you later.